Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock, Game 3 edition. We're slowly but surely getting there. I am Josh Engleman, and I am joined by, I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, did you call your shot on our show, Ryan?
Yeah, I did. I ended up tying, I believe it was 10 or 11 ways, but I was fortunate to tie with a couple of subs and Tom Kennedy as well, better known as our other boss behind the scenes here. It was good to see him with me up there on top. A lot of this success doesn't happen if he doesn't offer me the gig to join the team. So uh, grateful to be part of the team, but grateful to be tied with him up top the other day.
So we've got Babe Ruth underneath me calling his shot. FanDuel win 4 days ago. I asked him at the end of our show for game 2, which site are you going to win on tonight? You call DraftKings, and sure enough, a DraftKings win is in the cards. Love it. Love it. Guys, you need to be here. This is the goods. We're creating winners every time. And shout out to No House Advantage for being the presenting sponsor of this show. Hit that like button. We're probably not going to get to a couple thousand people like we had on the NFL show today, but over 1,100 likes on the show this morning. So let's bump those numbers up. Let's make basketball feel a little bit better. We are going to dive into all things game 3. And I think we just need to hop right in right away. It's Kelly Olynyk day again, huh?
He's back. I mean, there's a lot of news at the end of game 2 saying Bam was saying he's playing game 3. Probably playing game 3, and we get to Sunday, he's not playing. Looks like the Heat don't want to take any chances of hurting Bam by any means. I mean, obviously he's their cornerstone of their franchise for a long ways to come. But with no Bam, obviously, I do think we get a very similar rotation what we got last time out. I don't see anything really changing on the Heat end or even the Lakers end. We did see a few sprinkled minutes of J.R. Smith. He made an appearance back in the NBA Finals. But what do you think the Heat change anything up by any means?
I don't really know what they could change at this point. I think that they just sort of have to ride it out. They're missing 2 of their 3 best players. And in that scenario, like, things are going to look worse, and you don't really have all that many opportunities to make any additional changes. For those of you that are not aware, Bam Adebayo out, Goran Dragic out. So they will be out the same way that they were in game 2. And now in game 3, Kelly Olynyk projected for 13% ownership in the captain spot on DraftKings, 62% ownership overall. Both of those numbers, as you can see on the screen on the left-hand side, perfectly in line with my sim. It all makes sense to me. I mean, I did not expect Kelly Olynyk to play the amount of minutes that he played in game 2. It wouldn't have made a difference basically to my projections, other than if you knew that Kelly Olynyk was going to play 30 plus minutes, he probably would have been like 60% owned in the captain spot at that rate. What are you doing with him today? Do you have a Kelly Olynyk take, or are you going to try to get away from him now that the entire public is there?
The entire public is going to be there, and everyone can take a look at ownership projections today. They are free for everyone today. So I do think his ownership is going to go up quite a bit. Unfortunately, his price only went up $200.
So dumb.
Which is really unfortunate. But I do think we saw the max output of Kelly Olynyk last game.
Yeah.
A lot of his points came at the end of the 4th quarter. There was a lot of putbacks here and there once again. But the promising thing is he went out there and took 16 shots and priced at 3,000, 16 shots at 3,000. And he looked great offensively. He was the only one really giving them buckets and playing 37 minutes at 3,000. It is so hard to get away from. I do think his captain ownership will be quite a bit, but at 3,000, what are you going to project him for today after that performance at 37 minutes? Like, I do expect at least the mid-20s, and that's around what Alex has him projected for right now.
Yeah, I have him at 26 or 28 or something like that. Basically, however many minutes you have him playing is probably like his fantasy point projection. He looks great. He looks like he should be owned 60+% of the time. It's really hard to go a different direction at that point.
Yeah, and he did have 5 fouls. That's one thing to keep in mind of. Those 5 fouls did happen. Kelly Olynyk is not known for his defense by any means,
No.
and going up against the Twin Towers of the Lakers, and Anthony Davis was lights out to start that second half. It's going to be a problem for him on the defensive end if he can hold his foul trouble. And but at 3,000, I cannot. The only reason why you would want to fade him in one lineup right now is just to say, okay, he's not going to be that effective, and he's not going to get 37 minutes. He's just going to flat out bust, which is definitely possible. There's no
True.
like, yeah. So there's also that outcome that you can consider, and that's how you jump massive amount of lineups in a one
Yeah.
game slate. So you should definitely keep that in mind. I do think he's going to be the highest owned player on the slate. There's no denying that. He's going to be, uh, he's a good play. He deserves the ownership, but I'm trying to figure out what that cutoff line will be today.
So my question then is, do you see anybody else in the low end for the Heat, whether that's Myers Leonard, Solomon Hill, Derek Jones? Is there anybody else you see as a potential value play that isn't Kelly Olynyk from the Heat?
I mean, Myers Leonard is what price again? He's priced at
24.
yeah, so his price has gone up, and even at 2,400, he played 9 minutes. I think he got 9 fantasy points last time out, which is fine. He was hovering around the top optimal lineup for some time before uh, I think Markieff Morris came in at the end and
Yeah.
overtook that. So 2,400. Let's say Kelly Olynyk picks up a ton of fouls real quick. If he
Mhm.
picks up 3 first half fouls, Leonard might get like an additional rotational run. But like what it seems like is he's getting the first crack at it in the first quarter and the third quarter, and Kelly Olynyk the rest of the way, which is I think what will happen again, barring any injury or foul trouble for Kelly O.
Any interest in Solomon Hill or Derek Jones, both under 2K?
If you're building a bunch of lineups, sure. I think at that price tag, as we've seen, sometimes those things can pay off. But if there's a blowout run, they're obviously going to get some of it. And it depends at what point the blowout happens. So it's probably like sprinkling in maybe 2 or 3 in 150 potentially.
So I just pulled this up on the screen right now. Having a little bit of a giveaway. If anybody's
Mhm.
interested, head to Awesemo_com, our Twitter account. Look for the pinned tweet. All you have to do is reply to that pinned tweet with your answer of how many points you think Anthony Davis will score in tonight's game. Reply to that tweet. You got to follow Awesemo_com. You got to follow Awesemo NBA, and you got to like that tweet. You get those answers in by 7:30 tonight, so right before tip-off, one random winner gets picked for a Awesemo NBA yearly pass. It's a
Yep.
big value, 400 bones for that yearly
Yeah.
pass. So you guys should
The,
check that
the
out.
membership, yeah, the membership will take you into October 5th of 2021.
Yeah.
So there's 493 of you apparently watching. I know 400. I know all of you are not following the accounts, and if you guys were, there would be 493 replies by now. This is better than a free roll.
Yeah.
This is like an amazing deal. We don't do these many. We only do them for big events, and so take advantage of it. And good luck on the giveaway. I mean, Anthony Davis will put up 30 plus points last time out, I believe.
Yeah, 35, I believe, but
Thir-
that's off the top of my
32.
head. 32, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and he was 14 of 15 at one point in time during the game. Dude couldn't
Yeah.
miss. It's just somebody I can't remember who said it now, but it looks like he's playing against the JV squad. Like he's just bigger than everybody else. Kind of
Did you
sad.
see what Rondo said? Like NBA Twitter thought Rondo was being serious. I expect AD to get 75 each time, and like Anthony Davis probably could if you really like went balls to the wall.
Well, if they wanted to give him those looks, I mean, it would
Yeah.
be feasible for sure. So let's talk about AD, I guess. He's 12-2 on DraftKings, 13K
hmm
for LeBron James. On FanDuel, AD 15K. LeBron is 16. I think I know your answer, but who do you prefer, LeBron James or Anthony Davis?
We'll go back to AD once again. It's something that I pretty much sound like a broken record at this point. But Anthony Davis is just in that matchup. No Bam again. If you're telling me Kelly O and Myers Leonard find a way to stop him after all this, I'll tell you that you're lying. Anthony Davis is just in such a cape matchup. I expect him to smash once again.
So here's the deal. I am going to be cheering pretty aggressively for LeBron James. LeBron James is the final bullet I have in my playoff fantasy contest gun. I'm hoping that other people aren't playing him as much. I've already used AD, so I need a big one out of LeBron. There's a 2x multiplier for the finals, so if LeBron could go for like 60 fantasy points, I'm live then. I lost so many people in the previous rounds just because of some of these 7-game series. So the cupboard is pretty bare. I need a sweep, and I need a big day out of LeBron. So I'm team LeBron for today. And he actually is showing up slightly more often than Anthony Davis in the sim. So I'm a little happy.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous, though.
I mean, as we saw last time out, LeBron went 33, 9, and how many rebounds? He had 9 rebounds, 9 assists. So look, like he just missed out on triple double. So he's also he's also a fine captain option as well. If you want to take some risky value options, that you could definitely make that work.
I am down by 100 points right now. I don't think the guy that's in first is going to be using either AD or LeBron. So I got a shot. I used Tyler Hero in the last game, which was, you just told me his minutes, I would have been like, nice, this could go well. He had like a pretty pedestrian game, all things considered. So let's talk about the guys at the top for the Heat. Jimmy Butler played monstrous minutes in game 2. It's weird. Like I looked at his line, he was like, oh, he's got 5 points. Like I'm glad I don't have all that much Jimmy Butler. And then it just turns out that he had all of the assists and all of the rebounds and ended up putting up a really nice stat line. How do you feel about Butler and Hero today, the 2 most expensive Miami Heat players?
Yeah, I'm going to prefer Jimmy Butler just because we saw a massive game last time, and his ownership's always going to go up. He put up 56 points. He put up more points than Anthony Davis, I believe.
Yes. Like 2 or 3.
Both sides. Yeah. So now I don't expect that to happen again. I do expect him to play 40 minutes around that again. But he did pick up a triple double, I believe, last time out.
I felt like he had 10 assists and 10 rebounds in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah. So, but something that he got to the line quite a bit, 12 times. He got that's his highest since the Milwaukee series. He got to the 19 times in the Milwaukee series. He went 11 to 12 from the line. Look, Jimmy Butler is going to be the lead dog for Miami now. He has to pretty much carry the load for everything. And I don't think 50 fantasy points is out of the question again. I have him projected slightly below that right now. But it's definitely possible, and he makes for a fine captain option as well. He also makes things work once you put him in a captain.
Do you think we're going to see big minutes out of Tyler Hero again?
What was his plus minus in game 2? I know game 1 was just like awful, but I mean that's what more can you expect out of Tyler Hero? Went 17-7 and
he was -1.
Okay, a lot better
in 42.8 minutes.
Yeah, played 43 minutes. Yeah, he put up 17 points, shot 5 of 12 from the field.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to project him maybe in the low 30s this time around just because he's going to play 40-plus minutes, but they're not going to let him beat him. The Lakers are not going to let him get going whatsoever. I'm going to make sure Butler is a priority for me than Tyler Hero.
I actually like Tyler Hero quite a bit on FanDuel. Butler 13,500, Tyler Hero just 11K. If Tyler Hero is going to be playing 40-plus minutes and he gets hot, this could be a good big game for him. And it's not just empty points, given his rebounding skills. That should help add a little bit of additional fantasy points. So I do like Tyler Hero a little bit more than Jimmy Butler on FanDuel. On DraftKings, where they're only separated by $1,400, I would give the lean to Jimmy Butler there. And that's when it starts to get kind of grimy. If you're on FanDuel, you can look and see that Kendrick Nunn is one of the 5 guys priced at 10K or higher. That seems mildly incorrect. On DraftKings, he is priced a little bit more reasonably at 4,400. We've got Jay Crowder at 6,600, the foul-prone monster known as Duncan Robinson at 5,200. Who do you like in the mid-tier for the Heat, the non-Butler Hero division?
In all honesty, no one. That's just how it is. But and if you're playing multiple lineups, you're gonna make sure to sprinkle some in. So Iguodala is someone who played a ton of minutes in that first game.
Yeah.
He went from he played actually no, he played the same amount of minutes as games 1 and 2, pardon me there. Uh, he's kind of interesting to me. He's 3K. Um, he's the same price as Kelly Olynyk. I'm gonna have Kelly Olynyk projected more than
Yep.
Iguodala,
Yeah.
but there's obviously a chance Iguodala can outscore Olynyk. I don't know how often that happens. Maybe 3 out of 20 times potentially, just the way the game is set up, but it can happen, and that's how you jump ownership on this. But in the mid tier, I don't like Crowder at 666. I don't like
No.
Duncan at all. I actively try to avoid Duncan Robinson, just because they do such a good job of guarding him and not like Tyler Hero. They don't want the others to get going, the secondary options to get going whatsoever.
Yeah, I like the Iggy call. 3K gives you a little bit of an opportunity to get away from some of that Kelly Olynyk ownership if you need to. Only projected for 18% ownership right now on DraftKings. He actually showed up in the sim 26% of the time. So I definitely like getting to a little bit of Andre Iguodala. He's actually the guy that I like. Like, that's sort of my line in the sand. I don't like much under that. Not a big fan of Keefe or Myers Leonard, Solomon Hill, Derek Jones. So Iguodala would be the bottom of the line for me. Let's flip that over then and go to the Lakers side, because we already know what we want to talk about with regards to LeBron and AD. So we've got Rondo at 7K, KCP 4,600, Kyle Kuzma 4K, the mildly injured Danny Green at 3,800, Dwight at 36. Who stands out from the non-elites on the Lakers?
Non-elites on the Lakers. So Danny Green had some hip tightness last game. He looked really funny the way he was running. Hip tightness is something that is I feel like can linger over a few days.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the pharmaceuticals the Lakers have provided him have taken the pain away. But he's 3,800. He played great in game 1. People tend to make fun of him when he struggles right away in game 2 all over Twitter. I like taking a few more chances with Danny Green today,
Same.
just because of the price tag. And all Danny Green really needs to do, instead of going 1 of 8 from 3, if he goes 3 of 8 from 3, he's probably in play. That's all
Yeah.
really he needs to do, and that's definitely doable from Danny Green.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page there. 3,800, I think, is a really nice price tag for him. Not picking up any real ownership at all. No one is in that sort of tier. So I think that Danny Green and Kendrick Nunn in that like 3s and 4s area that aren't Kelly Olynyk, I think they both stand out. What do we get out of Nunn here? I liked his creation in game 2. I don't really know if I think that he can get bigger minutes in this game. How do you feel about Nunn now that he's sort of taken over the point guard role?
So it's just I didn't get to look up how much ball handling duty he really was doing with Butler on the floor. That's something probably to be interesting to look at. Uh, I like that he comes off the bench and kind of is supposed to play the Tyler Hero role,
Yeah.
which is nice. And he can spike and upside that way. He struggled to start the game, but he played 29 minutes, and Kendrick Nunn can put up 30 fantasy points if he were to get those minutes again. He put up 24 last game. He only did take 7 shots. So Nunn has an upside. And at 4,400, he is priced kind of in an island. He's a Kentavious Caldwell Pope pivot, and that's kind of really about it. So he's fine. It's not someone a priority right now, the way things shake out, but I do think his ownership will be nice where he could be the second highest Heat scoring fantasy player, potentially. That's his upside. Which is pretty valuable in a Showdown single game slate.
Yeah, on FanDuel, I think you could safely get away from him. He's the 5th most expensive player on the slate. That is a really ridiculous price tag. Shows up in my sim 13% of the time. He's owned about 10% of the time. It's not a spot to get all that cute. He's an inefficient spending of salary, at least on FanDuel. On DraftKings, it's a very different story. How do you feel about Dwight today? I feel like he just sort of doesn't exist for game 3, and I don't know why. I feel like I haven't heard much about him. He's just sort of, I don't know, like the Lakers version of Myers Leonard now. Play at the beginning of the first and third and just get on out of there while AD goes and dominates. They need Dwight for you.
Wow, that's quite an insult. For future first ballot Hall of Famer calling him Myers Leonard? I'm just
In
kidding.
this series, I mean, you know.
In this series, yeah. No, Dwight is the thing I liked about Dwight was he was a bit more engaging to start the game last time, and I think he probably took it personal the way he was abused in game one. He kind of was more aggressive, but the problem is it's his minutes. They don't close with him really, and for him, he's really is going to needs to be active on those putbacks and get his way there. He could pick up a double-double in 18 minutes. That's definitely impossible. So I'm willing to take a few more shots with Dwight Howard this game, just because I feel like maybe the field is a little hesitant potentially. But at 3,600, he's tough. I mean, Olynyk is someone you're going to prioritize over him for sure. But I would maybe make sure to have, if I were building maybe 10 lineups, I'm probably get in one share of Dwight at least, if not more. But because he's starting, and let's say he gets going and Vogel wants to write the hot hand, that's definitely possible.
Yeah, they're not really married to any particular strategy. If something is working, they have no disincentive to not continue it. We've got just shy of 700 people in here right now. That's a pretty big crowd for an NFL Sunday with an NFL Sunday night game yet to come. Speaking of, I believe it's Greg Ehrenberg and Emac coming up next. We are going to get out of here at 7:15. They will be taking over at 7:20, taking you all the way up to NFL Lock. Let me just double check it. It is Emac and Greg, so tune into Emac and Greg immediately after this. And hit that thumbs up. 700 people, 146 likes. That's not a bad ratio. I'm not all that mad, but let's get that number over 200. It'll feel pretty good. I'd like it. I've already gotten 1,100 likes today, so I would like to get a couple hundred more, you know?
Yeah, let's get some likes for me. I don't think we'll get 1,100, but I'd like to at least get that 200 threshold. Be sure to check out that giveaway. We've got about 30 minutes till tip off, so don't want to miss out on that. The ownership projections, the link is in there as well. So, yeah, it's sad. I mean, I do think this is the final week of the NBA season. Maybe it's Tuesday, or I believe they play Friday after that. So,
they wouldn't play Thursday?
I don't think so. I think they want to avoid the NFL.
That makes sense. They don't really have any incentive to play on Thursday.
They might play Wednesday. They might play Wednesday. It could be Wednesday, Friday. Could be
It is Tuesday, Friday.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the Lakers should take care of business. I don't think they want to even honor a gentleman's sweep. They want to do the outright broom sweep.
Yeah, I mean, and even more so now than anything else. Like, I'm sure these guys just want to get the hell out of the bubble.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's no denying that. I can only imagine how. It's been 90 days. Like, that's just
beginning of June, or beginning of July, rather.
Yeah, that's tough. Have we talked about our sponsor?
Yeah, let's touch on a little bit of No House Advantage, and then I think we can get into some questions because we're gonna have some time. I don't get the sense that you and I have a terribly large amount of takes left to expound on in this series. So let's start at the top. LeBron James, 28.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, 9.5 assists. He also has a 2.5 point 3-pointers made prop, 46.5 points, rebounds, assists total. Since I'm betting pretty big on LeBron James today, I'm going for the full. Now you can't take multiple LeBron props in this case, but I'm going for the full sweep. LeBron James 30-point triple-double today. Give me the over in points, rebounds, and assists. I'm loving LeBron, but I want the over in the points for sure.
You think he gets the MVP right away, regardless of what happens in the series?
Okay, let's have this conversation then, since we have some time.
Mm-hmm.
There has never been a more obvious time where he and AD should just be co-MVPs. At least, like,
I completely agree with you.
For right now, like, you know, if one of them has an off day or gets hurt or whatever, that's fine. If they both just go through this and drop like 30 and 15 in game 3 and 4 together, they should just both be the MVPs. It's ridiculous to try to pick between the two of them. They are very clearly the reason that it's happening, and it's happening together.
Yeah, and That's there. I would love to see a co-MVP. Has it happened in the NBA Finals before?
I don't believe so. I heard Zach Lowe talking about it. I think there are 11 votes, and it's like basically impossible.
Oh wow! Shout out to Hubie Brown. He gave Fred VanVleet one last year.
Hmm.
Well, VanVleet had a phenomenal series in the finals. He did win them a couple games down the stretch single-handedly in that fourth quarter. But he was, I remember him getting a lot of a lot of outrage. But Hubie Brown doing Hubie Brown things.
Yeah, so you guys should go and check out a little bit of No House Advantage action. Use the promo code Awesemo to sign up. Get yourself a little $20 free play on your first deposit. Get yourself another $5 if you can refer a friend and get them to make a deposit. That's what you should do. We've got the $2,000 Finals Showdown. It's $1,000 to first. It locks at 7:30, obviously. It's 42% full right now. There are tons of spots to get into. You can actually put up to 8 entries in the contest, but there are only 89 of 210. That's a monstrous amount of overlay that is shaping up to show up in this contest. You won't find things better than overlay in a contest. It's the best thing you'll find anywhere, any site, any sport. It doesn't matter. If there's overlay and you think that you're a positive player, you should attack that contest. You won't find a better payout structure for you on a contest with overlay. And right now, 58% of the entries have not been entered yet. So head on over to No House Advantage and sign up. We could probably get a link dropped in chat. Let's take a look at Anthony Davis's props. 29.5 points, 10.5 boards, 1.5 threes made. You think AD makes more than 1 3?
So in the series so far, he has made 1-3 in game 1 and 2 in 2 in game 1, 1 in game 2. I'm gonna take the under hesitantly just because they don't need him to shoot threes, and he can just go down and just put up bunny layups and make the defense look like clowns. But that's really all I'd really hesitant. He can easily knock down 2 threes in the first 2 positions of the game. That's how good he is. But
it's weird. Like you see that 1.5 3-pointers made, and you just immediately want to snap take the over. Like on the surface, you don't think about it. It's just like, oh, he'll make 2. And it's like, well, will he? Because he might just be 15 of 15 from the restricted area today because no one can stop him in the paint. I like these AD props. Now let's take a peek at Tyler Hero. 18.5 points. I would like to see an over for Tyler Hero here. 2.5 threes made. How many threes did Tyler Hero hit in games 1 and 2? Do you have that in front of you by any chance?
I can pull that up. Tyler Hero hit 1-3 in game 2 and 2 in game 3.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. What was the line? Sorry, could you repeat
18.5 points, 2.5 threes.
I'm gonna take the under. I'm not that he put just right around there in 43 minutes last time, and 43 minutes seems like the ceiling of minutes he could play.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go with the under.
I'm taking the over on his threes. I think he gets a little hot from outside today.
Okay,
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, he's got a sweet looking stroke, but it's so bad on defense.
Very, very bad. So guys, go check out No House Advantage. They are the presenting sponsor of this show. We love them. Sign up using that promo code Awesemo. We've got about 15 minutes before we get out of here. I think we should open it up for questions because I don't have any more nuance to talk about this slate any longer. So if you got questions, chat. If you're YouTube chat, get them in. If you're premium Slack, get them in. Let us know. Starting lineup in Butler, Hero, Robinson, Crowder, Leonard. Meanwhile, Dave thinks it's shocking that it's Leonard. He obviously did not pay attention whatsoever to game 2 when he didn't start. Congratulations to Dave. You are the best. I hope he hears this too. And congratulations on losing that bet in Slack chat. You are not allowed to tout anything in Slack for a week, which is quite the benefit to the rest of the premium subs.
Yeah, that's Dave is quite the talker in the Slack. He's an active Slack member. If you can be part of the Slack group if you were to use our promo code Orlando, which expires today.
It does.
For $5, you can get access for the rest of the finals, get access to all our Showdown content. If not, if you want to check out our other sports, we have an Express Pass for $3.95, which will get you access to all our Showdown content. There's going to be $1 million prize pool, I'm sure, for tomorrow. There might be a double header in the NFL, so
Yeah.
take advantage of that. Take the same tools Alex puts out. It's great to start and then build your bankroll up with the Express Pass and move up in memberships as well.
Go get it, guys. It's the goods. Come see what we have now so that when the NBA season starts up again, whenever that might be, I guess,
I have no.
you'll be ready and you'll know what we have. We're getting some questions over and over again, so we might as well hit on it. Do you think that JaVale McGee sees the floor today? I would say absolutely not, barring just truly like 40-point blowout type stuff.
Yeah, he didn't see the floor in the first game when they were blowing him out by
No.
whatsoever. Like it was 30 plus, and you barely saw the floor then. I mean, if you want to take one in the 150, sure. I mean, it's just if he hasn't seen the floor, then it's just maybe he's like, yeah, I'm about to get my third ring, right? This would be his third ring. He got 2 with the Warriors, so
Yeah.
yeah. So
yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be betting on too much JaVale tonight. By the way, guys, if you're asking any questions, let us know what site you're playing on. It's a big time difference between DraftKings and FanDuel. What were you going to say, Ryan?
Yeah, I would rather take shots on like a heat blowout player than JaVale McGee, just because I do think a heat blowout is definitely more likely than a heat blowout run from like some player that you can get more correct than JaVale McGee.
Here's a good question. Who is your favorite captain play on DraftKings? Is Duncan Robinson in play?
Oh God, he's going to be virtually unowned on the captain spot. I'm not going to go there just because I don't think it is for him to be captain. I don't know how often it happens. It's definitely going to be less than 1%. I don't know what it says in your sims, but
3.4%. He would need, on average, 36.5 fantasy points in the captain spot, non-multiplier. So like 36.5% your normal day. So 50 or whatever that would be then, right?
Yeah,
50,
if I'm building
54
one lineup,
and a half.
Yeah, even if I'm building one lineup, I don't think I would take a lottery ticket with Duncan Robinson. I think you could. I think he's. Yeah, I'd rather play him in utility than in captain if I were building him in one lineup. That's where I stand with him. I just don't think he has that massive ceiling upside in this matchup. He hasn't shown it in any of the games against the Lakers in his career, and I think that's what we continue to see.
Let's see what else we have coming in here. Can I get different on FanDuel with a captain beside or MVP? I'm assuming besides AD and LeBron. I would have a hard time taking anyone other than LeBron James or Anthony Davis. Jimmy Butler is the only other answer. I don't think it's possible to take anyone else in the MVP spot other than those three. I had LeBron show up in the MVP spot 53% of the time, AD 38, Jimmy Butler 8. Tyler Hero actually finished there 0.6% of the time, but for all intents and purposes, you want to go to one of LeBron, AD, or Jimmy Butler. It's a very different structure. The raw points rule the roost, and the chances of someone outscoring all three of those guys are basically impossible.
Yeah, and like we saw the Rondo ceiling game last time out. I think that's someone we haven't mentioned, but his price tag has gone up accordingly. He's up to 7,700 on DraftKings, and I believe he's 10,000 as well on FanDuel. We saw the ceiling game, 38.5 points. He got the double bonus. I don't think we see 30. Maybe we get 30 fantasy points, but that's even stretching it. He played phenomenal last time out, but he's not even consideration. For me, in order, it's probably AD, LeBron, and Jimmy Butler. You could cycle those three around, but I prefer the Lakers guys. I want to say 9 times out of 10.
You and me both. Which two? Pick two. Green, Olynyk. Some of this spelling here on Franklin Webster. So it's Green, Olynyk, Olynik, Iguana, none, single entry. So Green, Olynyk, Iguana, or none, single entry. You got to pick two of them. DraftKings.
Green, Olynyk, Iguana, or none. I'd probably do Olynyk for sure. The other three are pretty close for me. I think I will take the minutes, and I'm gonna go with none probably, just because I think he has the highest upside of the remaining three.
Okay. I got a couple questions from Premium Slack now that I need to touch on. So this would be DK Cash. I'm immediately going to throw this one in the garbage. Captain, none. Then LeBron, AD, Kelly O, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson. The answer is absolutely not. Sorry, Samuel Johnson, but no. You cannot start off your DraftKings cash lineup with Kendrick Nunn.
That's a phenomenal
spot.
GPP play. There's no denying that, but I'd rather try to play. Olynyk probably is going to be the most popular captain option today. I would rather be a little more safer. Maybe go with Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, or LeBron.
I was going to say you have 4 options in cash for your captain: LeBron, AD, Jimmy Butler, Kelly Olynyk. I don't think that there is a feasible option otherwise.
22 minutes away from lock. We've passed 200. Maybe I'm fishing for too much.
No,
hit the like button for us.
There is no such thing as fishing for too many likes. Trust me. I've been fishing with dynamite for weeks now.
Yeah, so I got a question. Iggy or Morris? I'm going to go with Iguodala over Morris. Just because I do think Iguodala gets 5 or 6 extra minutes compared to Morris.
Yeah, I have Iggy by a mile. Shows up in the optimal utility spot 26% of the time. I have Markieff Morris at 3.5. I got a good question from one Ship My Money, friend of the program. This is not an actual question for this show, but is there more than a 0% chance that Spo plays Udonis Haslem today? Well, technically the question is there more than a 0% chance that Spo lets Haslem have some fun?
Well, he's been having fun giving the Heat guys an earful on the sidelines, and Jimmy Butler said maybe he should start. Like you said, I'm more inclined to see Haslem in Game 4 as a farewell, more or less. He hasn't played since the last game of the bubble, and a 40-year-old to go up against Anthony Davis, like he's going to come in and give him a flagrant 2 and get an ejection, and maybe that's what he's going to do. But I don't know.
Decent idea. Throw yourself at his legs or something.
Yeah.
I think we do see him play at least a minute in one of the next 2 games, though.
Yeah. So today, tonight. I think it's more likely to see it happen on the next game than today.
Yeah, I mean, if this one gets out of hand, then it could be today, because if Game 4 stays close, then I don't think that they bring Haslem in just in general. But he's not a guy that you should be playing in fantasy, so don't really worry about it at all. What else do we have here? Green or Pope?
So I think KCP is going to have more ownership, but there's a salary saving today, and it's a decent amount. So I'm going to go with I'm going to take Danny Green.
Same. You and me both. Josh Ray, is Kelly Olynyk starting? No, he's not. Myers Leonard still in the starting lineup, same as Game 2. Let's see what else we have. Any more questions in Premium Slack? Morris or Caruso? FanDuel utility. That is definitely Caruso.
Yeah, Caruso for me as well. Caruso, if Danny Green is actually hurting, I do think Caruso might get a few extra minutes because of that. He did play 23. He was very differential towards the end of the fourth quarter. But Caruso is someone who we've seen an upside in these playoffs. He has put up games of 29 fantasy points in the Houston series. He got there. And let's say if this game were to blow out, he might put on a dunking show at the end. Who knows?
Robinson or Pope? Robinson, $600 more expensive than KCP. Similar ownership.
I'm gonna take. I will take KCP just because of the savings, and I do think KCP has a higher ceiling. As crazy as that sounds.
So, what makes you hate Duncan Robinson so much? You seem to Did he cost you money or something? You seem like he talked to your girl or something. It doesn't seem like you like him.
No, so I actually love Duncan Robinson. He went to Michigan when I was at Michigan, And
Interesting.
so I have nothing to hate against Duncan Robinson.
Did you ever see him
Look,
around?
he
Were you
played
ever at a party with him? Any classes with him? Anything like that?
not classes. I've seen him around campus. This tall, scrawny dude. Never would have thought he would have made the league when he played. He took us to a national championship game. And he went up against Dante DiVincenzo, and DiVincenzo looked like the love child of Kobe and Jordan that game. So, and fun fact, at Michigan, I think when Robinson scored 6 or more points, Michigan only lost once.
Really?
It was in the I want to say that was the year of 2017 or 18. Whenever they went to the national championship game, that was the year when he scored 6 or more points. They only lost once, but he never.
Wow.
I knew he was a lights out 3-point shooter, but in my time in Michigan, he was not the best 3-point shooter we had. It was Nick Stauskas who was the best 3-point
Sauce
shooter.
Castillo, baby.
Yeah. So, and Nick, fun fact, I actually might have forced a trade. I told Nick Stauskas one time, you need to get out of Sacramento. He was traded 6 hours later to Philadelphia. So,
wait, you told him like personally or like on Twitter?
Yeah. It was personally. I told him you need to get out of Sacramento. It was at the bar. He's like, "Why?" I was like, "You got to get out of there." He got traded, and I think he was part of the.
He went to Philly, right?
Ended up being, yeah, and that ended up being a pretty crucial part of why they got the Holtz pick, as well.
Yeah, that was one of like the worst trades the Kings have ever made.
Yeah, so
they were trying to. If I'm remembering it correctly, that's when they were trying to free up all the money, and they ended up signing Rondo.
I forget. Yeah, it's
and
something
like Costa Kufos and somebody else shitty.
Yeah, it could have been like Carl and some like a bunch of random players were in this trade, but that affected why Philly was in the lottery or some reason like that.
Yeah, the unprotected Kings pick ended up being like a really big trade chip for a while.
Imagine if they took Tatum.
It'd be insane. I mean, they didn't look, I stand by my story. They didn't make the wrong pick. It's wrong in hindsight, but like you can't look at it through the lens of Holtz fully breaking. I mean, he was a pretty unanimous number one option at that point in time. Oh. All right, 2 minutes to go, guys. Before we get out of here, we probably have time for 1 or 2 more questions. Would it be bad for you to play Nunn and Olynyk in FanDuel Cash since they're both bench players? I think that playing Nunn in FanDuel Cash is absolutely impossible. Kelly Olynyk should absolutely be in the lineup.
Yeah, I prefer Kelly Olynyk and there's a price savings as well. So, and right now I have Olynyk projected for more fantasy points. So that's kind of my decision point there.
I mean, I think Kendrick Nunn might be the worst cash play on the slate on FanDuel.
Yeah, he's pretty priced up there. I think would you prefer Rondo to him straight up?
Yes.
Okay.
And Crowder. And no, there's nobody else. And Olynyk, obviously.
I have all those guys projected similarly, like within like a couple fantasy points of each other.
Yeah, I've got Nunn at 22.5. Rondo at 24.8. So same ballpark. All right, final question. Nailed the Keefe pick Friday. Who is the Keefe pick today that takes it down? And then Ryan, the floor is yours. Call your shot. Which site are you winning on tonight? Will that be FanDuel or DraftKings?
Potentially, I'd love it to be both. I don't think that would happen, but I guess I got to go back to FanDuel today. But today's Keefe type of call, it's tough. I mean, I think Caruso has that upside for sure. I like that price tag. He could be a Kelly O pivot. That's for sure. But I like Caruso off the bench, and just because I feel like his upside is in the mid-20s, and that's if he's playing 23 minutes, that could happen. Or we can go back to my Kuzma narrative, which I think is due. That has to happen in this series for my satisfaction. I'm an anti-Kuzma believer, and if he could do that, maybe I'll believe in him. But those are the 2 people maybe I could see getting there.
All righty. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please hit that like button. It helps us out a ton. If you're playing NFL Showdown tonight, Emac and Greg Ehrenberger coming up in 4 minutes. So the moment we end this stream, they are going to be getting themselves ready to go live. That's all I've got today. Good luck, guys. Ryan, anything else? Any final thoughts?
No, take advantage of the giveaway. You got 14 minutes left. Good luck, and catch you next time.
There it is, guys. Good luck tonight. We're out of here. Bye.